questions intensify.
We've got everybody out. We knocked on everybody's door.
As the death toll rises and people are missing after the Texas floods, CEO of X steps down.
Because those hatreds, we know, animate people to terrible things on the ground.
After the company's AI sparks controversy, the shoes stay on.
We have a multi-layered, whole-of-government approach now to security.
The change TSA is making after nearly 2 decades. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
And I'm Nicolette Esper. Today's Thursday, July 10th, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
For nearly a week, law enforcement and volunteers have worked tirelessly to find victims of the devastating Central Texas flooding. Tomorrow marks 1 week since the devastating Central Texas flooding. At least 150 people are missing and 120 of them have died.
And this morning, questions are rising over early warning systems for flooding amidst ongoing rescue efforts. CNN's Leigh Waldman has more information.
We have large debris piles, and we ask them not to use heavy equipment to take down those debris piles until they've been checked by a search party, because it's possible there are victims in that debris pile.
It's a sobering reminder of the heartbreaking reality across the Texas Hill Country. At least 120 are dead. Even more are missing after a historic 4th of July flood.
It's going to be a slow, methodical process that's going to take us, days, if not weeks, I think, to really provide, the answers that everyone's looking for.
All the while, questions over why there was a delay in issuing a code red alert, a mass notification system used by some communities to send emergency alerts to residents' phones. Kerr County officials took nearly 6 hours to send the alert after it was requested by a firefighter. That's according to audio from a dispatcher obtained by CNN affiliate KSAT.
I believe those questions need to be answered to the family of the missed loved ones, to the public. Please understand that. We're not running, we're not going to hide from everything. That's going to be checked into.
While this community is faced with the Herculean task of rebuilding, stories of everyday heroes are emerging.
We got everybody out. We knocked on everybody's door. And that took us about 10 minutes to get everybody out. And then we started hooking up with the tractor to the trailers. And we grabbed one, and the wall just came.
President Trump will be here on Friday to survey the damage left over from this flood and to meet with state and local leaders. Later this morning, we'll hear from the Kerr County officials about this nearly week-long search and rescue efforts. In Kerrville, Texas, I'm Leigh Waldman.
The crew of a commercial ship find themselves in peril this morning after all 19 on board were taken by the Houthis. The attack happened Sunday, marking the first attack on commercial shipping by the Houthis. The Houthis claimed that the ship used Israeli ports and had to be attacked.
At least 9 people are dead after a portion of a bridge collapsed. This happened yesterday near Mumbai, India. The bridge, built in 1985, gave way around 7:30 a.m., sending several vehicles, including trucks and vans, into a river. Rescue crews rushed to the scene, with officials fearing more people may be trapped. State leaders say the bridge was regularly maintained, but officials called the collapse a tragic accident.
This morning, 31 workers are showing no visible injuries after being trapped inside of an industrial tunnel. Last night in Los Angeles, the fire department says the trapped workers were able to climb over a 12 to 15-foot high pile of loose soil to reach co-workers on the other side. From there, they were taken by tunnel vehicle to the access point. Officials say the tunnel is part of a municipal wastewater project.
The CEO of social media platform X, Linda Yaccarino, steps down after a company's AI chatbot began pushing anti-Semitic tropes. CNN's reporter Hottest Gold has the latest on the controversy.
Safe cities and sensible.
Elon Musk vowed to retrain his AI system known as Grok. After growing angry with its answers, he said we're, quote, parroting legacy media.
The overarching goal for the X platform is to be the best source of truth.
Those changes appear to have prompted Grok to use some anti-Semitic tropes. The chatbot going so far as praising Adolf Hitler, claiming Hitler could spot the pattern of anti-white hate and handle it decisively. Grok also claiming Jews, who are just 2% of the U.S. population, hold disproportionate roles in places like media, finance, and politics. Is that control or merit, it questioned. When CNN asked Grok its sources for some of these posts, it said 4chan, a favorite forum for extremists known for its hateful conduct.
Had the right guardrails been in place and had adequate time been left for testing, I think these kinds of problems would have surfaced and would have been fixed. The fact that that did not happen is alarming.
The biggest
Musk himself has repeatedly said he favors total free speech, even if it's hateful.
I think at the end of the day, free speech wins in that if somebody says something that's false, especially on our platform, you can then reply to it with the correction.
But extremists were celebrating the changes. The founder of the far-right forum Gab posting, "Incredible things are happening."
We'll take a break now.
Musk himself has been accused in the past of trafficking in anti-Semitism, which he has denied.
You know, obviously I'm against anti-Semitism. I'm against really anything that is, that promotes hate and conflict.
After the public outcry, XAI deleted some of Grok's posts, issuing this statement: "We are aware of recent posts made by Grok and are actively working to remove the inappropriate ones. Since being made aware of the content, XAI has taken action to ban hate speech before Grok posts on X."
This is something that has a massive reach globally and serves to normalize the types of hatred and anti-Semitism that we have been warning about, because those hatreds we know animate people to terrible things on the ground.
Musk himself saying on X, Grok was too compliant to user prompts, too eager to please and be manipulated, essentially. That is being addressed.
Linda Yaccarino became CEO of Twitter May 13th, 2023.
TSA taking a step forward when it comes to making airport checkpoints more convenient. If you plan on catching a flight soon, don't worry about taking off your shoes. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez has more details on the announcement of the security change.
After almost 20 years of going through airport security in socks or bare feet,
TSA will no longer require travelers to remove their shoes when they go through our security checkpoints.
Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announcing the end of one of TSA's most frustrating policies for travelers, which the department hopes will reduce wait times and still keep the public safe.
It will be a much more streamlined process going forward.
The move comes amid significant advancements in airport security technology and the recent implementation of Real ID.
TSA has changed. We have a multi-layered, whole-of-government approach now to security.
Noem says changes to other TSA rules are also being considered if they can be implemented safely. Clint Henderson with the Points Guy says one of those changes could be the size of liquids in carry-on bags, which is already happening in some airports overseas.
The bad news is the TSA has previously said this is not going to go away until 2040. Not all the airports have these new CT scanners that are giant that can screen larger size liquid containers.
But keep in mind, those rules haven't changed just yet. So Henderson says it's important to be familiar with the policies, get to the airport early, and take advantage of flight travel programs to reduce your security stress.
Get TSA PreCheck, get global entry. Those things will really speed up your trip, and a lot of credit cards will reimburse you for those fees now. So lots of tricks to the trade.
Secretary Noem says they're currently seeing a 94% passenger compliance rate when it comes to Real ID, but passengers who don't have a Real ID can still be able to keep their shoes on, she says. An instance where you might have to take your shoes off is if you go through additional screening, but again, not having a Real ID might require additional screening, according to the TSA. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Well, the Miami teams are on the road with the Marlins and Inter Miami, who are looking for road wins on the same night.
That's right. That's still ahead, and so is the story.
We walked over here and somebody had just activated it, and he was traumatized. He had his tail right up between his legs, and he started crying.
A dog here in Florida getting a save after being caught in a tight spot. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
A second chance for a dog after a cruel act. In Daytona Beach on Tuesday, rescuers pulled off a miracle, saving a trapped dog.
That's right, a dog trapped inside a trash compactor was saved just in time. CNN's Pam Lacombe has a story.
You can see like it's up here already. You probably have to climb about just four stairs.
A rescue that's hard to believe. A dog found trapped next to piles of trash at the bottom of a compactor.
When you lower it down, he was all the way down there at the bottom. There was more trash in there, so he was like all crammed with the trash.
Brandon Arroyo, who also works for FWC, says the trash chute at his Daytona Beach apartment complex sits too high for the dog to fall in on his own. He believes someone threw him in.
I couldn't believe it because, I don't know, he's just, and it's a big, good-sized dog. I mean, we weighed him, he's 55 pounds, so you have to lift this 55-pound dog and throw him in there.
They think he was stuck there for about 12 hours overnight until they found him Sunday morning. Getting him out took time and patience.
And he was about 4 feet now below me, and I was able to throw the lead over his head and then pull him close enough to where I could scoop him up.
He may not have been hurt by the compactor itself, but he's dealing with some existing health issues. Heather Jones says they're working to get him checked out. And while he's been doing better, just walking past the compactor was enough to scare him all over again.
We walked over here and somebody had just activated it and he was traumatized. He had his tail right up between his legs and he started crying and shaking immediately.
They named him Daytona after the city they found him in, and while he still needs time to heal, he's getting a whole lot of love. Arroyo and Jones are now determined to find out who did this.
We've checked the area for cameras. Unfortunately, this apartment complex doesn't have cameras, so I was looking for personal cameras. So right now we're running tips through Daytona PD non-emergency line. Good boy. Yes, you are.
That search is now underway. Pamela Combe, WESH 2 News.
The Marlins road win streak has unfortunately come to an end, falling 7-2 to the Reds in Cincinnati. Sandy Alcantara struggled on the mound, giving up 6 runs over 5 innings. Cincy jumped ahead early with Ellie De La Cruz, who drove in 2 with a pair of doubles, and Novelli Marte added a 2-run homer in the 4th. Connor Norby got the Marlins on the board with a solo shot in the 9th, but it was too little, too late. But don't worry, Miami, the Marlins are back tonight behind Cal Contrail, leading on the mound to hopefully finish out the series with a win.
Inter Miami keeps their winning streak alive after their elimination from the Club World Cup against the New England Revolution. The team was dominant in Massachusetts, with Lionel Messi scoring 2 goals before halftime. The Revolution scored in the 80th minute, but could not tie the game before the final whistle blew. The final score, Inter Miami 2, New England 1. The Herons will come home to host Nashville SC on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Stick around, Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Nicolette Esper.
And I'm Valentina Gaspari. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.